Happy Sunday. Okay, I had a topic. Um, and the topic was basically kind of Law of Attraction 101, which is, for me anyway, it's about the ask. And I'm a big fan of Abraham Hicks' Ask and It Is Given, that book by Esther and Jerry Hicks. It's kind of, I think it's where probably 90% of coaches pull a lot of their stuff from. Law of Attraction coaches, that is, because it's kind of like the Law of Attraction Bible. There's tons of other teachers and resources and books and training that I pull from as well, but really, like, the Law of Attraction purists kind of come straight from that. And the real basic part of that is, ask and it is given. And how does that work? Because that sounds like a magic trick or like a genie. And yeah, it doesn't mean that, ask and something's gonna magically appear. That would be awesome though. And if there's some way for that to happen, I'll definitely be tapping into that. But no, everything is energy, and we are energetic beings. And I'm speaking from Law of Attraction, or from Ask and It Is Given, okay? But I do believe this. That's why I coach Law of Attraction and live by it. But so we're energetic beings. We're all kind of part of the same energetic field. And we're energy, but we're existing in human form at this time. So we're energetic beings kind of having a human experience. So a lot of like what we would probably naturally be able to make happen far more quickly and far more easily. It's different when it's coming through a human filter and a human experience in this world, where we've created a reality that can make everything seem difficult, and it seems like you have to bang your head against the wall to get something to work. But anyway, the way it works is, as soon as you ask, and you don't have to literally sit down and officially be like, "Dear universe, this is what I would like." Generally what happens is you get pretty clear right away on something that happens in your life that you don't want, which means you know automatically what you do want. It's a good thing to know what you don't want, because that helps you get very clear on what you do want. And as soon as you want it, that's the ask. That's, you don't have to say, "I want." That is the ask. And as soon as you ask, the universe gives it to you. It's yours already, but in energetic form. We have what's described in that book as a vortex, which is like the space where everything that you've asked for, everything that is yours, it exists already in this vortex, in this energetic field. And your job is to align with it. So we all kind of vibrate at a certain frequency, and the things that we want also vibrate at a certain frequency, and your job is to match your frequency to that. So how do you do that? That sounds kind of cool. Like, how do I just, I want a new car, so how do I dial into a new car channel so that I am tuned in and new car shows up? And I have actually had that happen. Not that a new car magically appeared, but I did manifest my car, and that's a fun story. Maybe I'll save that for another post though. So aligning energetically means distilling it down to, okay, why do I want that, for one thing? Why do I want that? Thinking about that, how is it going to make me feel? How will I feel when I have this thing that I want? And oftentimes it turns out, that whatever feeling it is that you're wanting it to bring you is a feeling that you could probably have now already. And you're holding back, like, I can't be happy until I have enough money, I have the job I want, I live where I want, I have the relationship that I want. I can't be happy until any of those things happen. When those things happen, I'll be happy. But we all know, that there's people in relationships who aren't happy, or there's people that have lots of money and they're not happy. People that have the things that we want and aren't happy. So happy is kind of and I'm not saying that every feeling everything you want is boiled down to happiness, but oftentimes it is happiness, freedom, contentment, love. So here's the game, and it's easy, and it works really when you're in alignment, when you're in receiving mode. You put that ask out there, which you've already done, whether you know it or not. And then you just start to think about ways that you can kind of generate that feeling in your day-to-day life. Like for me, I want to be back in California, and I want that very much. And it's really important for me to believe that that's going to happen, and to talk about it as though I already have a set plan. And I do. I mean, I don't know what it is yet. That's the thing, is to not get caught up in the how. I plan on leaving when my daughter leaves. I'll be going to California. Right now, I don't know what that means. Sorry, I keep getting texts that get in the way of my screen. So I don't know what that means as far as like, how will I be supporting myself? Where will I be living? But I know that I will. And so I'm operating on that belief. And it's not something where I'm walking around going like, I gotta pretend I believe that. No, I really do. I really know that it will happen. I can feel it. It's time for me to not be here in Florida anymore. So here's what I did the other day that seems counterproductive, but I really don't think it is. So I had a job interview. I figured getting a work from home job, which I have had in the past, there was one out there that I had gotten through all the, I applied, they loved my resume. I usually crush it on jobs like this because I have like 1 million years of customer service experience and I'm really good at it. I think my soul will literally die if I do another call center job, at least the type that this job was going to be. So I got all the way to the interview process, and it was one of those interviews where it's like kind of just a formality interview, like we want to talk to you and see how you answer some questions, but we're already asking you if you're going to be available for training on such and such day, and if you have this equipment, and here's how it's going to be, and are you available between these hours? So it's the, the last part of the interview where it's like, we want to hire you, we just want to make sure you're not a complete, like psycho. So, which I then became. So it was a roundtable interview in an Adobe room. So a chat, group chat, there was like 6 candidates, which I'm sure like 6 of us could have gotten the job. It wasn't like all 6 of us were going for one position. It was like, you 6 are the next team that we're going to pick. We just want to make sure that you guys are like, okay. So they started out with going around and having everybody introduce themselves and give, a little bit about their personal life, a little bit about their professional background, what have you been doing? And I did that, and it felt fine. I had plenty to say, and, it was cool, and everybody else on the group was cool. And then they threw out the first question to the first person. I knew, so you knew what was coming if you were further down the line. And it was the question that I've heard in like these types of interviews many times, which it was like somewhere along the lines of like, what does it mean to you to go the extra mile for a customer? And give us an example of a time that you've done that. And I've done that 30,000 times because I always go the extra mile. I'm that kind of person. I'm that kind of employee. I will always do anything I can to make sure that I can, help or get the person to, someone that can if it's not me. And I stick around, and I hate my voice. I'm sorry. I don't know what's up, why I'm like a 14-year-old, is it like, which Brady was it? Was it Peter that had like the cracky voice? I have a Peter Brady voice lately. I don't know. It's a new thing. Like since moving to Florida, I like went into 14-year-old boy puberty, and it's terrible, but it is what it is. I developed asthma when I got here, which created this constant need to clear my throat. That's, probably really fun to watch and hear. Anyway, so they asked that question. The first 2 people crushed it. Their answers were great. And I was already kind of thinking about what mine was going to be. And they were talking a little bit about, what the job was going to be. It was going to be like answering calls for a telecommunications company, but doing like troubleshooting for internet connectivity and things like that. And I've done a job like that for another company where they kind of farm you out, to other companies. Is my phone sliding slowly? It is, isn't it? Hi, there I am. I'll just hold it. Okay, so I've done that job already. But it was for Apple, basically. It was like, no, I wasn't working for Apple, but I was working for a company that provided Apple with call center reps. So I was completely trained to work on iOS and Mac and all of that stuff. So they train you. They hire you more for like your personality and your ability to communicate with customers and be empathetic and be a good listener and all of that stuff. And then they train you on the tech side of it. And I'm not very techy, but I did learn most of it. I did really well, actually, as a tier 1. And then because I did so well as a tier 1, they promoted me to tier 2, which I was not ready for because I was still using tier 2 techs to help me with tier 1 calls. And I said that. I'm like, I'm not ready, and I know that my metrics are going to like drop, but they don't care. They like to cherry pick from, whatever good teams there are. They want their metrics to look good, so they pick the employees that are doing well and they put them on their team. And if they don't do well anymore, it's a pretty revolving door type job. There's a million other people that want it, so they just let you go if you're not doing well. And at the time, I was having health problems too, so basically I kind of let myself get fired because I kept calling out. Anyway, back to this. So we're going through the interview process, and I literally felt like a hand around my heart starting to squeeze it. I felt my soul dying, and I was like, I know that they're going to offer me this job, and it's a job that I could start now and be kind of locked in my bedroom here at my mom's house doing 8 hours a day or whatever. I think it could be longer because it was possible overtime. I've been talking way too long. I'm going to try to wrap this up. So I literally said during the interview, I typed it in chat, but I'm like, I apologize. I appreciate the opportunity, but I'm going to have to exit this interview. I don't think I'm going to be a good fit for this position. And I just bailed. So I want to go back to California. A work from home job that I could have already in my pocket to get there would be the best idea. It would make the most sense, but you kind of have to use your emotions as a compass. And when I was feeling like I was about to cry by the time they got to me for that question, like I literally, I felt like such a deep sadness at the idea of doing this job. And it just looked like, even the Adobe room, it's like, oh, the setup was exactly like the calls, in the chat room and stuff from the last job. And I really did not like that job. A lot of terrible things were going on in my life at the time, so I was just triggered. But I think that was really the universe telling me, this is not the way to get back to California. There's going to be another way, namely coaching. I mean, that's my passion. I could do that probably for 20 hours a day and not feel like oppressed and depressed. And so yeah, what I have done is just, I know what I don't want. And it's definitely not a call center job, not a working for somebody else, having to meet their metrics and follow a script and handle disgruntled customer after disgruntled customer all day long for hours that you don't choose, a schedule that you don't choose. I do know that I'm going to have to put probably that much work into my coaching practice, if not more. But I've done jobs before where I've worked for myself. I had an Etsy shop for a while and made hand-carved rubber stamps, and I would work like 12-hour days getting those cranked out. And I loved it. The hours went by and I didn't even know it. I'd be exhausted. All the things that happen to me, normally with fibromyalgia and bipolar disorder and all of that stuff would kick in. But it was a lot more manageable because I was doing it for myself, and also it was something I was passionate about, so it felt different. So anyway, I've put the ask out there. I've asked the universe to show me the way to have an income and live in California and be able to leave when Lauren leaves, whenever that is, maybe probably in end of May or whenever they kind of make it safe for us to travel again, because we're going to drive, most likely. So yeah, ask and it is given, and don't worry about the hows. So, and the next thing you're supposed to do once you've put your ask out there is to just, again, do anything that makes you feel the way you're going to feel when you have what you want, which for me is going to be, you know, content, happy, relieved. And right now, today, the thing that's going to make me feel that way is to do art. So I'm going to work on my painting some more. I think I've shown you a few glimpses of that in other videos, and I'm going to stop talking because my voice sounds ridiculous and I've been talking for a long time. But yeah, so I have put the ask out there. I've followed my emotions and not taken the job that was going to probably depress me and set me back. Even though it seemed like the most logical thing to do, and if any of my friends are watching this, they're probably going, "You're a fucking idiot. What are you doing? You had a job that you could have gotten. You keep saying you want a job so you can come back to California." But I know that that's not the way. So I'm trusting that the way is something that I haven't quite seen yet, or it just hasn't happened yet. You know, like what I want to manifest is taking its time to manifest. And everything happens in divine timing. So yeah, I'm just waiting and seeing what's going to happen. But I have asked and I know it's given. So I'm just working on alignment today. And alignment today means do some art, maybe do some yoga, hang out with my kid, feel good, eat Oreos. And I hope everybody has a happy Sunday.